This is Jeffrey from Jeffrey App Tech, and welcome back to another video. In this video, I will be showing you how to do second development with the Dobot Magician robotic arm. Now, there are many types of second development, but I will be showing you how to do the iOS one, where we will be building an app to control the Dobot Magician. Now, this video will be split up into many parts, I think about 4 or 5, because it's so long, and it will take a lot of code. So you may want to be prepared, and let's dive right in. First, you want to open up Xcode and create a new Xcode project. Let it be a single view app, and we're doing Objective-C. And I'm going to call it Dobot iOS and save it to my desktop. Now I'm going to make the window a little bit bigger and change it to only portrait and device as iPhone only. That way, we're pretty much good. And then now we want to go to main.storyboard. Here's where we're going to set up the UI. First, you want to drag in a button and put it at the top left corner. And I'm going to call it connect, and it will also switch to disconnect. So you may want to make it a little bit bigger, because disconnect is bigger than connect. And then we want a button, well, first a label for the log, and I'll put it right under. And I'm going to give it center alignment, maybe 3 lines, and I'm going to call it log. Now we're going to have a switch, and I will put it below the log to represent between coordinate and joint. Let's find another label. And you want to put one on the left, and that is labeled coordinate. And put one on the right and label that joint. That's the switch. And then we want to have 4 buttons in a formation sort of like this. But we're going to change the text in a moment, so don't worry. I'll call this X. This is going to be J1 plus, J1 minus, J2 plus, or sorry, J2 minus, and J2 plus. That's those. And then you want to have a button here that's labeled, and you want it to label get pose. And then you want to have a button that's called PTP commands, which will execute the PTP commands that you put in. Now below, we're going to have a button labeled stop timer. Then after that, we want to have a button called EIO. Then a button labeled stop EIO and get EIO. I think that is pretty much the view. And if we forget anything, we can always come back and put it in again. Oh yeah, we did forget something, it turns out. We forgot the Q. Now, you can put in a button and it's labeled Q, but you want 3 of them. Start Q, stop Q, and clear Q. There we go. This is our entire view. Now we can add the constraints. And again, just like I said, if we forget something, we'll just come back and add it in. Doesn't make a difference. Now let's go to viewController.h. First, we will get started with our IB outlets and actions. And after here, you want to say at property. And it may be a better idea to put them in through the main.storyboard. Just remember to recede everything just to give you some more space. And then turn into assistant editor. And you'll want to change it to viewController.h. Now we're going to add in our IB outlets and actions. First, you want this to be BLE connect because it's Bluetooth low energy. And then you want this to, you actually don't want that. And you want one for the log. Then you want one for the switch. We're going to call it jog mode switch. Then you want the button for X plus Y plus, X minus, and Y minus. Now these are these. And normally they are in this mode, but sometimes they are in coordinate mode, which is X plus, X minus, Y plus, and Y minus. Here, we want it to be X plus, X minus, Y minus, and Y plus. Those are our IB outlets. Now we'll move on to actions. First, we want to get started with when the BLE button is tapped. We'll link that up again as an action, and it will be BLE connect tapped. Then you'll want one for get pose. And remember, it's an action. Then you want one for PTP commands. Remember, it's always an action from now on. And actually, here, I'm going to get rid of this. You can just delete that, and then you want to go back to viewController.m and also delete that. But then here, you're going to have to delete that because then you're going to have a problem where you're going to get Sigabart. Here we are, we're back. And you want to, instead of having a parameter of sender with ID, you want to have it with UI button. You have a type here and it's UI button. Here you go. And now you want one for stop timer, which is right here. Then you want one for start queue, stop queue, and clear queue. Now you want one for the jog mode switch. because every time it changes, then you'll want to know it's changed. Jog mode changed. Then you want to do the EIOs. What's the problem there? First, let's unlink that, because sometimes there are things that will give you problems, well, especially for some special names. I could say EIO tapped with no problem, and then I have to go back to M and change it. Then we can go back and continue. We only have a few more, just these two. Stop EIO and get EIO. That happens. Just delete it, take out the outlet, and then we'll continue. And we have to link this up as well. Now we're going to go back to viewcontroller.m just to make sure we're updated. Seems like we're good. Now let's go back to the normal editor, bring back everything else. We'll save the two files. And now we're going to get started with our implementation. Now the first step is to import the Dobot kit library. Now you might not have it because obviously it's not included anywhere, but here's where you can get it. You want to go to the Dobot website, dobot.cc, and you want to go to Support Download Center. Then you want to go to Development Protocol and go to Dobot Demo v2.0 and download that. And you're going to wait for that to download. And then after it downloads, we'll continue. And it is done downloading. Now you want to open it up and let it expand. It's quite a big file, actually, because there are a lot of demos in here. Look at this. All of these. You want the iOS one, and you want this framework. You want to take this out, and I'm going to Command C this. Or actually, let's drag it out here. And then here we go. Let's go to Xcode. We want to drag it about there. That way we have our framework there, and now we can import it. Dobot kit, so that's dobotkit.h. That's our framework. And now we want to add our delegates. BLE, MSG, MGR delegate, and MSG handler. Those are our two delegates, and then we want to define our tags. Here we are. Hashtag define x plus as 100. Then you want to define x minus as 101, and we'll copy those two and paste them again. 102 and 103. This will be y plus, and this will be y minus. Those are our x pluses and x minuses, and y pluses and y minuses. Then you want to define some extra properties. And this time we can't use outlets. We can't cheat on that. Non-atomic, and it's strong. It's an NS timer, and we want to call it get current pose timer. It's used for getting the current pose, and it's a timer for that. I want to copy that because we've got two timers here. And this one will be called change IODO timer. Now we want to copy those two, paste them 2 times, just once, and then you want to change strong to assign on both of them. And this one will be a uint 8 underscore t, and we're going to call it address. And this one will be is height level. And it's a boolean. Now we're going to define all our properties, including those IB actions, but there are a few methods that we have to define that will be used in these IB actions. And I will define them right now. First one is called init data. Now there's pretty much a template for every void that we can copy, which I will create right now, which is just like that. And the second one is called build UI. Then you want one for update button BLE connect, which will update BLE connect, which will pretty much update the button. If it's connected, then it will say disconnect, and if it's disconnected, it will say connect. Now let's look down, and we want one for some of the other features, not just the beginning, such as, for example, we want one for changing the IODO timer, or just initting the change IODO timer. Init change IODO timer, and then after that, we want one just to change it, a method, but it's going to have a parameter. Init change IODO, but with the parameter of NS timer. Then you want to update the jog mode. And again, it's going to have a parameter. Which is the switch, and we'll call it SW. Now you want one for the long press button jog. It's going to have a UI gesture recognizer this time, because we're recognizing the long press gesture. Now we want one to init the get current pose timer, just a function just to init the timer, and it will be called init get current pose timer. Now we want one for the connect stuff for the Bluetooth manager, the Bluetooth MSG manager delegate, which includes did connect and one for did disconnect. And now we want to handle the MSG. It should automatically get that for us. Let's fix that error and look down here. It's added everything for us, but some of the stuff we don't need. We only need this handle MSG. Everything else we can leave out. Yep, and we want to delete that, and we'll put that with the other voids. Right here. Now we'll just leave this space just for when we are actually coding. And that concludes our first part. In the next video, or next part, we will get started with the actual coding of a lot of these methods. and you'll find out it's a lot of code. Maybe 600 to 700 lines of code, and we only have 100 something. So 600 more to go, and we'll keep on going. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!